I'm glad my sister slept with my boyfriend. I sat at the dining table pushing food around my plate while my sister Christy talked about herself for the third time that hour. Christy had this way of making every dinner feel like her personal TED Talk. She examined her manicured nails while she spoke, tilting her hand to catch the light like she was admiring a diamond ring that wasn't there. My boyfriend Leon sat next to me scrolling through his phone under the table. Lately, he'd been checking out mentally while I sat right next to him. Christy's boyfriend Mason sat across from me, arms crossed, watching her with the kind of tired expression that told me he'd heard whatever she was about to say at least 10 times before. "So I've been thinking," Christy said. She looked around at all of us like she was about to deliver a keynote speech. "I have this idea. It's kind of crazy, but hear me out." Mason muttered, "Here we go," under his breath, and Christy shot him a look that could curdle milk. He didn't flinch, just leaned back in his chair and waited. I'd always thought Mason was quiet because he was boring. Now I was starting to think he was quiet because he'd learned that speaking up around Christy was pointless. "I think you and I should swap boyfriends," Christy announced. I blinked, then laughed out loud because there was no way she was serious. I looked at Leon expecting him to be laughing too. He wasn't. He had finally looked up from his phone and was watching Christy with more interest than he'd shown me in months. "I'm serious," Christy continued. She smiled the way she always did when she wanted something, the one that made her look sweet, but felt like a threat. "Think about it. Mason is so boring. No offense, babe." She waved her hand in Mason's direction without actually looking at him. He never wants to do anything spontaneous. He just wants to stay home and watch movies and cook dinner. It's like dating a retirement home. Mason snorted quietly. "Better than dating a tornado that destroys everything and calls it excitement," he said. His voice was calm, but there was an edge underneath it. Christy ignored him completely, like she hadn't even heard him speak. "And Leon?" Christy said, leaning forward with her chin in her hand. "He's adventurous. He's fun. He's always down to try new things. I just feel like we'd be way more compatible. It makes sense if you think about it." I stared at her. "You're insane," I said flatly. "I'm practical," she replied. "Why should we both be stuck in relationships that don't fit when we could just trade? It's not like any of us are married, Bailey." "Christy, that is genuinely the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say. And you once told me you thought the sun and the moon were the same thing." "I was 12, she snapped. "And stop deflecting. I'm offering you an upgrade." She gestured toward Mason like he was a prize on a game show. Mason raised an eyebrow but said nothing. Leon cleared his throat. "I mean," he said slowly, "it's not the worst idea." My whole body went cold. I turned to look at him so fast my neck cracked. "Excuse me?" He shrugged. One of those lazy, careless shrugs that made me want to throw my fork at his face. "What?" "I'm just saying. Might be fun to try something different. We've been together 2 years, Bailey. Things get stale." "Stale," I repeated. My voice came out flat and hard. "Yeah, don't act like you haven't noticed." I had noticed. I just thought it was something we'd fix together, not something he'd use as an excuse to trade me in for my sister. Christy clapped